Góðan daginn, welcome to Project Pal. My name is Gunnhildur, I'm Iceland, I live in Iceland, and this is my podcast, my vlog, Chatty thing, where I talk mainly about knitting, about crocheting, anything fiber related, yarn, because yarn is interesting, and it just... I have a collection of it. If you've been here a long time, you know I have a collection of yarn, so I have a big stash. And which is also why I have a lot of projects, because name of the show, called it Project Pile, because I have projects, they're in piles, I just keep adding to them. And I have a lot of projects in piles because I also have yarn in piles. Well, not in piles, I've got them sorted. Let's see, what else? Oh, weather. Because I'm your classic European, middle-aged European, I talk quite a bit about weather as well, because then I always have something to talk about, and also because the weather affects everything that I do, especially like first when I was starting to upload onto YouTube. I'm pretty certain that the longest time it's taken me to upload to YouTube was somewhere around 48 hours. I think it's been a few years. Our internet is a lot better, way better. Now it just takes me like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. From hours to minutes. Just different life. And because excuse me. I'm blaming the weather. Listen, it's been a bit wintry. No, it's the very classic spring in Iceland. Today it's been cloudy. We've had rain, snow, and sleet. But at least it's not like windy. That's not a challenge. So yeah, and also because I am an Icelander and I do live in Iceland and I really love my country, and one of the things that my country is very much known for is volcanic activity, and because I really do not approve of false or incorrect information being thrown around. I'm thinking of TikTokers who literally just grab the most dramatic headlines and just ran with it. With the last eruption. Listen. So currently there is no activity in the area around Grindavik, and the other areas are fine and calm and dandy and being considered right now. There is going to be an eruption again in the same area as it has been for the past... Is this the 7th or 8th time that is upcoming? I think it's the 8th time. 6th this year? This winter? Something? I can't remember. It's been way too active. But yeah. Those TikTokers. Just taking the most dramatic, exciting thing and just running with it. Listen, Iceland is not a tiny island, okay? And a volcanic eruption is not going to decimate the entire island. The last time we literally had... Okay, the one time that happened was actually not on Iceland, the mainland itself. It was in the Vestmannaeyjar, the main island of the... What are they calling it? I can't remember the name, but basically it's a collection of islands to the south of Iceland called the Vestmannaeyjar archipelago. It's a bunch of islands, and the main island called Heimaey is essentially an active volcano. Well, it has an active volcano, and when it erupted, and you can Google it, the images from it they are dramatic. They are just, honestly. When the eruption happened in Vestmannaeyjar, when was it? I am such a good Iceland, I cannot remember when it was. Thankfully, the entire town was evacuated, no one was lost. And all the things that we learned from that, all the things that people went through. My aunt literally had her newborn twins. The only thing that she thought and managed to grab was diapers. And I think, like, balls, I think. That was the only thing that she had when they literally had to abandon their home. Rushed down to the harbor because thankfully, this is one of the few times that you're gonna be thankful that there was a storm. So all the fleet was in harbor at that time. Because also, I do remember that was also a time around the cod wars that we had with Britain. And because of the storm, the entire Icelandic fishing fleet was in Westmannaeyjar because of the storm. And because there's this thing called a storm peace. The British fleet was also, in safety in the islands. So if worst had come to worst, the British would have come to help because they offered. They were scared that people were going to die. So, all things considered, that is the one and only time until now that a town in Iceland has had to be evacuated. That is the only time an island has had to be evacuated due to an volcanic activity. I am just realizing that I am a little bit more triggered over this than I thought I was, but the fact that there were these TikTok children I am offended by them, okay? Insisting that Iceland was just going to be entirely evacuated and that no one was able to be here and everything basically was a hell on earth and rah rah rah. And I'm just literally sitting here at my home in the Eastern Fjords being like, what? Even my sisters, like, I have a sister in a nearby bigger town called Keflavik. See, literally, the way that I learn about the most recent activities is when my big sister takes a picture out of one of her rooms, out of one of the windows, and sends her a picture of the plume, and it's like, yeah, started. That's how close my older sister is. She's fine. I have another in the capital. Guess what? They're fine. The capital of Iceland is literally across the bay. They are literally watching the plumes. No evacuation. You know why? Because they are not in danger. Yes, volcanic activity is something that needs to be respected. The planet that we live on, she is alive. She is breathing. And when she moves, we need to be careful and we need to show her respect. What we do not need is a false narrative about how Iceland is. Because no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just got triggered. It kind of, if you're from like Europe, it's just me jumping from one thing to another, but if you are from Europe, there was this thing, and I'm pretty certain that I wouldn't be surprised if people don't know this time, this century, because why would they? But for centuries, Icelanders were basically considered, how do I put this nicely? Okay, in certain circles, because obviously this is not something that was universal, otherwise people would be more aware of it, but in certain circles of certain countries, Icelanders were considered, what's the word? Not quite sinners, or not quite demon spawn, but because people believed that the gates of hell were in Iceland. The lovely, lovely volcano called Hekla was considered the gates to hell. And because Icelanders lived lived next to hell, that meant that we had to be cooperating with demons, meaning that we were, well, obviously not personally, but Icelanders were considered very much on a grey line. So, knowing that history, and that this is one of the bad things about knowing history, because when you see the same pattern re-emerge, like centuries later, from a kid filming a TikTok because he really likes those views, and insisting that gates of hell have opened, basically, and the island is basically gonna be decimated, and everyone's gonna die, and apocalypse, Ragnarok, all the things. I get a little bit annoyed because it's false narrative. And also it costs a lot of people, smaller companies, hotels and rentals, that cost them a lot of missed revenue because people believe them. But yeah, we're fine. Everything's fine. How about you? When I get triggered and my mouth just starts running because I'm like, listen. But yeah, everything is fine right now. Currently, there isn't an active volcanic activity currently, but it's gonna start in the upcoming days. There's been a lot of in the same area. Like there's a lot of buildup of magma underneath apparently, which just sounds like I've been saying for like the past 2 weeks or something like that. It just sounds terrifying, and I really cannot understand how people are in the area. But you know what? It's their home. In other news, wait, what do you want to talk about first? I got my bike today, specially delivered from Reykjavik. So, and I'm so excited because finally I have this drive, this interest to, go biking again. I have not been on a bike since not in this millennia, not in this century. Let's just put it like that. And so I finally have this drive and this interest to get biking again. But I'm not interested. If you can hear that, my window is open and neighbors on cars. But yeah, because I'm not interested in modernized bikes. I'm not interested in black colored ones. They are everywhere. I don't like it. I don't mind it, but personally don't want it. I don't like the bar that's like up here. Sometimes I have a little trouble like lifting my legs properly because sometimes they just get tired. I don't know if it's my hips, but so I was looking for a bike that had like a lower bar. Also basket. I like baskets. I always like baskets since I was a kid, and not an electric one because a lot of bikes nowadays are electric ones and they cost a lot, and I just want a bike. So I managed to find one store in Reykjavik they have such a nice, fantastic internet presence. Like their webpage is just so well done. It was so easy to navigate and find things. Oh, I forgot to tell him that. But yeah, so I think it was the owner himself, along with a lady, who were driving the like delivery truck, and I got my bike. I'm so excited. So, and he set the seat for me so it's lower because I am not a tall person, and he told me where I could like adjust for the steering if I feel like it. I also got my new helmet, and he also gave me like 2 extra tubing, so if something happens to my tires, I don't need to be like fumbling around. So he thought of that for me, and I'm so grateful for it. So this is actually the third time that he's here in my town. So he was asking like you do when you run a business, because he would like to know how I heard about them. I'm like, Google. I had a very specific image in mind for a bike, and I just Googled, because this, third time in the same town, and he was like, "Are they talking about it?" And I work in a grocery store, so I run my mouth. You probably heard me this time around. I really like to talk when I start talking, so I will definitely continue talking about them, especially if I haven't gotten this such a fantastic service. So I'm like, yes. And yeah. And the other thing that is maybe more in line with what the what's the word? Stated objective is. So now I'm going to talk about the yarn. I am halfway done with the squares. So I've got 20 of these, and I love them. Look at them, they're so pretty. And I'm getting so used to making them that I just fall into, I just fall in line. I do, and do make sure to have the pattern right next to me, because I do get easily confused when I'm like counting and doing something, then my mind wanders, and I'm like, oh no, what am I doing? So to counter that, always have the pattern right next to me. So yeah, I mind you though, I think it's like, oh yeah, it's 3:15 right now. I was gonna film this in the morning, but then I got so caught up in waiting for my bike. And they were like here around like between 1 and 2, and I'm like so excited about it. I'm like, I had a hard time just focusing. I tried to read, couldn't focus. I had some YouTube videos running. I'm not focusing on them. I managed to make, I think, like 2 squares this morning, and I had to count every stitch that I was making because I was so excited about my bike. So yeah, I obviously I'm gonna continue working on the, like, listen. How cute is this gonna be with this dress, for example? It's just gonna be so cute. It's gonna be light, it's gonna be airy. So obviously I'm gonna continue working on this now that I'm halfway done. Well, making the squares, and then I need to make the triangles, and then I actually need to like put everything together, but that's a later headache. And then weaving in all the ends, but that's for later. So yeah. Is there anything else? Oh, one thing. The little baby I was talking about, the one little bitty unborn little boy, that my friend, her daughter is having. He was born on the 9th with a cesarean, and dear God, the poor little girl. Oh, little girl, come on, she's over 20, but the mother, oh, bless her. So yeah, they ended up having to have a cesarean, and so the little boy, he's 20 marks. That's like 5 kilos, and I googled it. That's like 11 pounds. Her first child was an 11-pound baby. 54 centimeters though. Oh, I didn't. Hang on. Need to move you a little bit. So I can get past. So 54 centimeters. Just over. Hang on, if I do like that, yeah. Just over 21 inches. And I never had children of my own, because reasons. And when the grandmother-to-be was trying to explain how, for example, big the baby's head was gonna be, I was not the only one crossing my legs and keeping them well closed, because that just sounded horrifying. Like, you got a baby that big. Goodness. But he's big, he's healthy. The mother is doing well. The father is apparently just being a grade 10. He's been fantastic, just everything that you can dream of when it comes to a partner. And I'm really happy for him. And apparently they will be in town at the beginning of June, I heard. So hopefully I will get to see him. See the cute little giant. But yeah, that is my update this week. I am halfway done with making this show. Got my bike. There's no volcanic activity right now. Not a challenge. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you again next weekend, and we'll see if I manage to take a bike ride. And until then, take care, and I'll see you later. Okay? Yes.